I want my
TV.
It's my
TV.
And I want it now.
Hey there, guys. Welcome to part 2 of 101 movies I want Stewart to see. I'm your host, Frank Ireland. For those who don't know, I challenged my friend Stewart to watch 101 movies, and he's like, do it up. These movies are not film classics, like film cinema, like The Seventh Seal or One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. No, none of those movies. These are movies that are my childhood favorites, movies that I think are underrated. Some of these movies are my guilty pleasures, and some of them I haven't seen, and I wanted to share that experience with somebody like, hey, what'd you think of that movie, right? I know, right? That's the whole reason why I like movies, so you could actually share the experience with someone. And I think doing this with Stewart, it's just so exciting to me that it's like, we're sharing this experience. It's so cool.
So I hope you like it.
So number 11 on this list is Tentacles.
American International presents Tentacles.
Tentacles is a 1977 Jaws ripoff. There's like a boat race. It takes place on the beach. It's about a giant octopus that attacks a small town. I believe it's an Italian film because there's a lot of bad dubbing in this.
Here's that stupid pain in the ass.
And they try to trick you to think it's a bigger movie than it actually is. In this movie, they got John Huston, who showed up in the first video, and I said, oh, he'll show up later. This is where he shows up. He shows up in Tentacles as a news reporter who lives with his sister, Shelley Winters.
over there. Tommy, why do you think Jamie has to wee-wee so much?
He's excited about the race.
And then Bo Hopkins is in this. But my personal favorite is
Henry Fonda.
Henry Fonda is so bad in this. And the reason why it's so bad is clearly Henry Fonda worked one day on the set, never left the location. He stays on the beach patio or goes inside the house, and he's always talking to someone on the phone. It's terrible, but I love it. And it always creeped me out as a kid because there's some creepy visuals in this movie. Like there's the scene at night where it attacks the girl, and then there's that scene where the guy's feet come up, and then there's the scene where there's this hairy Italian guy who's badly dubbed.
Michael, for Christ's sakes, what the hell's taking so long?
And the camera pans over and you see the eye of the octopus. That shit always freaked me out. Some of the visual effects are very cute in this. Like they clearly have a whale puppet, because I think they actually have like an octopus in the tank and they're just using like a whale puppet. It's so cheesy. And if you love Jaws ripoffs, check out Tentacles. That's why it's on my list. It's a childhood favorite. I grew up with the VHS tape that my mom must have recorded off of TV. On this tape we have Home Alone, Red Wind, Orca, and Tentacles. Orca and Tentacles are a great double feature if you like Jaws ripoffs. They're so great.
Tentacles. The most gripping suspense you will ever experience. Rated PG.
So number 12 on this list is What About Bob?
Just when Leo Marvin thought he was getting away from it all,
As of this afternoon, I'm taking my family on vacation.
his old friend Bob Wiley showed up.
Oh my God.
What About Bob came out in 1991, the year I was born, and I love this movie. And I know what you guys are saying. Frank, you got a bootleg DVD there. You're a terrible person. I know, but at the time when I made this, What About Bob was hard to find, and the only copy that I could find was from the library, so I burned a copy for myself. The reason why I did that is because the only copy I had was this VHS tape. Another one of those ones that my mom made. On this VHS tape we have What About Bob, Terminator 2, and Rambo 3. I can't watch What About Bob without thinking about Terminator 2, and I can't watch Terminator 2 without thinking What About Bob. What About Bob is one of my childhood favorites. And I believe I pitched it to Stewart as Cape Fear, done as a comedy, and that's what I really like about it.
He's a sweet guy. Maybe a little neurotic, but not crazy.
Are you sure I'm not imposing?
Oh, no, not at all.
Richard Dreyfuss is fantastic in this movie. Last year when I met him at Nickel City Con, I wasn't excited to meet him about Jaws. I mean, like, of course I was, but I was more excited to meet him because I knew him as Dr. Leo Marvin from the movie What About Bob. But I knew that he doesn't like this movie because him and Bill Murray had, like, fights on set. So I think that actually works out because this movie is so funny. Great Bill Murray movie, and Frank Oz directed it. Check it out. It's so good.
What About Bob? Rated PG.
So number 13 on this list is The Jackal.
There's supposedly a killer for hire who uses that name, but we've never been able to prove if he even exists.
Can you kill this person?
Yes.
This man was ice.
How much?
70 million.
They call him The Jackal.
The Jackal came out in 1997. It stars Bruce Willis and Richard Gere. As I was editing part 1 of this video series, I was checking out the next 10 movies I had to talk about. So I was like, what are the next 10 I have to talk about? Okay, Tentacles, blah, blah, blah. And I saw I had to talk about Bruce Willis. And those who know me, Bruce Willis is my all-time favorite actor. Even though he hasn't been in good movies lately, he'll always be like my favorite actor of all time. But anyway, the whole reason why I wanted Stewart to see this, and the whole reason why I want other people to see this, is because I made a mashup where I picked Bruce Willis as Batman, and this would be his Batman personality, because to me, Bruce Willis is really fucking cool in The Jackal. He's like a secret super spy, so he has like different outfits, he has like different like mustaches, different wigs, and he could disappear in a crowd, and he dyes his hair blonde, because I'm pretty sure it's for the Fifth Element, but he dyes his hair blonde, and he's doing all these different secret spy shit, and he's making all these gadgets, and like there's a scene where he's like painting a car, and then he's building this big giant sniper rifle, and it's so cool. And like to me, one of the coolest scenes in the movie is when he's like telling Jack Black to
Run.
What do you mean?
I mean, run. Now.
It's so fucking cool, and this is totally his Batman movie, and I want people to check it out. It's a really underrated movie. Richard Gere is kind of ass in it, but it's okay. You can get past that because the whole other part of the movie is actually pretty good. Also, Sidney Poitier's in this movie, and he gives a good performance, so yeah, check out The Jackal.
The Jackal.
So number 14 on this list is Striking Distance.
No.
I got you this job after they took your shield.
River Rescue 9221. This is base. Party, please come in.
9221, guy.
He's got a new assignment.
And shark.
So I included Striking Distance for a couple reasons. The first reason being, of course, I grew up with it. This is one of my childhood favorites. When I went to the library, I saw that Bruce Willis was on the cover. I was like, hey, I like that actor. I want to check out this movie. So I watched it as a kid. I really liked it. One of the things that stood out to me in this movie was the use of the song Little Red Riding Hood by Sam and the Pharaohs. I think it's a real good use of a creepy song, and it stands out to me is because of this movie. The other reason why I want Stewart to watch this, and anyone who watches the series, to get a better understanding of why I picked Bruce Willis as Batman for my Batman fan trailer. I think this is a good Bruce Wayne movie, because in this movie, Bruce Willis plays a tormented ex-detective who's like a drunkard, and he's trying to figure out this crime that's going on that's specifically aimed at him, because all the women that are dying are his ex-girlfriends.
Puts the bodies in the river so I'll find them, Nick. He wants me to find these girls.
So I thought that would be an interesting, like, Bruce Wayne movie, and I feel like his performance in this movie is one of the reasons why I would pick him as a Bruce Wayne type of character, because of Striking Distance. And the third reason why I included this movie on this list is because I want a second opinion, Stewart. I want to know if this movie is terrible or if it's bad, because I have nostalgia glasses on this movie. I'm a Bruce Willis fanboy, so I like his performances. I also like the elements in this movie. I like the character actors that they have in this movie. I like John Mahoney in this. I like Dennis Farina. I like Tom Sizemore. I like the actor who's playing the serial killer in this. I think Bruce Willis does a decent job. But I do know that there's some crap elements in this movie. Like, I think Sarah Jessica Parker is totally miscast. I think she's too young for this movie, and I just don't think she's that great. There are plot elements in this movie that I don't think work. Like, there's a point in the movie where they try to make Bruce Willis look like the serial killer, and I'm like, that's stupid. Because at that point of the movie, you're watching everything from his point of view. So at that point of the movie, they switch to Sarah Jessica Parker, and it's just like, no, we've watched the whole movie from his point of view, so he can't be the killer. So I thought that was kind of stupid. But I think it's a decent movie. I think it's good, solid 3 out of 5 stars, because I know I was saying, oh my god, it's excellent, oh, it's great. But, you know, this is a solid 3 movie. So I just want Stewart to check this out. Let me know what you think, Stewart. Be honest. I just watched your cliffhanger review, and I think that was great, because I'm like, that lets me know, like, okay, that's what kind of mindset Stewart's in when he watches a movie, and that's what he expects, and that's his taste in movie. He has that kind of thing. So after seeing that, I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about Striking Distance.
They should have never put him in the water if they didn't want him to make waves.
And I think it's a decent Bruce Willis movie. It's better than anything he's done in the last 10 years. So check it out, guys. Let me know what you guys think.
Striking Distance.
So we get to number 15 on this list, and it's Analyze This.
Meet Paul Vitti.
How you doing? Feel great. Never felt better.
A mob boss with a problem.
Yeah, I got stressed.
Analyze This was released in 1999 because, of course, it was. It came out with all the other film classics. You got The Matrix, Fight Club, American Beauty, Phantom Menace, and of course, Analyze This. Analyze This is one of my favorite comedies of all time. It's fucking funny. Even after 20 years, I can't believe it's been 20 years. I saw this in the theater. Every time I watch this, it cracks me up. It busts my sides. If you're a huge fan of Goodfellas, Casino, Godfather, any of those mobster movies, you're going to get a good kick out of this movie because it's so fucking funny. To me, Billy Crystal is hilarious.
You see my picture in the paper?
Yes.
No, you didn't.
I don't even get the paper.
Me and my mom quote this movie all the time.
Yeah, who's this?
It's me.
Me who?
Me. Me.
Me who?
Me. You know me. Me.
Look, your rear end is all screwed up there. No, it was like that before.
What kind of sandwich ain't too fattening?
I have a sandwich. So I want you to think about it, and I'm going to think about it, so we'll both think about it.
Call the Vatican. See if something is missing.
Fat piece of shit. Rat fucking cocksucker. Scumbag. Garbage pail.
Let's go say hi.
Find out what this closure is. If that's what he's going to hit us with, then I want to know what it is.
Don't repeat what you hear here. Hear?
What, the first thing or the second thing? I suggested something, and you immediately agreed.
You're right, I did.
I watched this a lot as a kid, and I just want Stewart to watch this because I think it's so funny. And there's a sequence in this movie that totally recreates The Godfather, and it's so well done. Oh my God, Harold Ramis was the god at directing. And this movie is hysterical, and I think you guys should check it out.
Analyze This.
Number 16 on this movie list is Deceived.
From Touchstone Pictures, Adrian Davis doesn't know who's after her.
Anybody here?
What they want.
Is this an accident?
Where they'll stop. And before the night is over, what she doesn't know.
This is crazy.
Might kill her.
Somebody help me!
Goldie Hawn. Deceived.
So Deceived was released in 1991, the year I was born, and it stars Goldie Hawn. It's one of my childhood favorites. It was on one of those VHSs that my mom made, but sadly we lost that VHS years ago. We were both distraught because we really liked this movie, and then luckily like maybe 4 or 5 years ago we found this at Rite Aid. It's one of those like psychological thriller movies where like there's a twist in it and you're like, ooh, what's going on? But the reason why I want Stewart to watch this movie and I want anybody to watch this movie is because I see it as the unofficial Home Alone 3, because it stars John Hurd. John Hurd played the dad in Home Alone, and it's so fucking perfect as a Home Alone sequel. And it looks the same way as Home Alone, so it could like be in the same universe, because it's like that early 90s like film stock look. It's not that great of a movie, but it's great to me, and I just want to share that experience with Stewart. So Stewart, when you watch this movie, just watch it as Home Alone 3.
Deceived.
Number 17 on this movie list is Presumed Innocent.
Carolyn Paulhamus was murdered last night. Some creep got into her place somehow and strangled her.
It looks like she was raped.
Rusty, I want you to handle this case personally. You're the only one around here I can trust. Just catch me a bad guy.
Now, Presumed Innocent came out in 1990. It stars Harrison Ford, Bonnie Bedelia, Paul Winfield, and there's other character actors in this, but the one that steals this movie is Raul Julia. Raul Julia plays this attorney who has to defend Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford gets framed for a murder he did not commit, and it's the woman he was having an affair with. And it's like, holy shit, did he murder her? And you wonder if he did it or not, because like all the evidence is there. There's a glass with a fingerprint on it. His was there on the crime scene. She was like stabbed brutally, and it's like, what the hell's going on? It's crazy. So they have to figure out who's doing this and figure out like the court case and how to defend him and stuff like that. And he's trying to figure out who would blackmail him to do this, or did he actually murder her? You don't know. And then there's like flashbacks, and the reason why I want Stewart to see this because there's an unintentionally funny flashback in this movie to a court case he had that has Timmy from Jurassic Park. In Jurassic Park, Timmy was like 10 years old, so in this movie he's like 6 or 7, and he's like a little kid, and he has this unintentionally funny line.
She hurt my head. My mommy hurt my head.
And Harrison Ford's like,
my mommy hurt my head.
And it's funny because it's Timmy, but it's kind of like, ew. But anyway, this is a great movie. There's a huge twist ending to this movie. It's like, what the fuck? I would compare the ending to this movie to Gone Girl. Spoiler alert. But yeah, it's something like that. It's like, what the fuck? But it's a really great movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I love Harrison Ford in these dramas, and you should check it out. It's underrated, underappreciated. It's great.
How can you think that I could do a thing like that?
So we get to number 18 on this list, and it's Working Girl.
Someone's about to get what she deserves.
I know I'm asking an awful lot, Tess, but I don't know what else to do. I need you to take over.
Do me a favor, be me. Be my secretary.
You do, sir?
Thank you, Cynthia.
Hold all calls, Miss McGill?
Yes, Cynthia, thank you.
Working Girl came out in 1988. It stars Melanie Griffith, Harrison Ford, and Sigourney Weaver. Sadly, I don't own the movie. I wish I did, but it's really fantastic. Melanie Griffith plays this girl who graduated from college, and she wants to get a good job, but all these men are sleazy, and they're all like, you gotta sleep with them to get ahead, and she just finds it really grimy. And then she gets this job with Sigourney Weaver, and she's like, oh, a respectable woman, that's really cool. I have a female boss, and it's like woman power, it's really great. And then Sigourney Weaver gets in an accident. Melanie Griffith takes over that spot, oh, I'll pretend to be this woman, or I'll take over her place and make it look like she said I should do it or something like that. But she does that kind of thing, and she meets Harrison Ford.
I have a head for business and a bod for sin. Is there anything wrong with that?
And it's so well done. Melanie Griffith is so sweet in the movie. She's probably one of my favorite female characters ever. She's so fantastic. And Sigourney Weaver is such a fucking bitch in this movie. Oh my god. And Harrison Ford, he's not the leading man in this. He's the second banana. And he goes with it, and it's so well done. I discovered this movie when I lived in LA. In 2011, I had this apartment, and I would watch Stars, and they had all these different kinds of movies. And one of them was Working Girl, and I would watch it almost any time it was on, because I just loved it so much. And it's a really good... I hope you like this movie. It's really good. And anybody else, I highly recommend Working Girl. It's so good.
Melanie Griffith.
How about you? I'm flat broke. I'm crazy about a man that I will probably never see again.
What besides that?
In a new film directed by Mike Nichols.
I'm telling you, she's your man.
Working Girl.
So we reached number 19 on this movie list, and it's The Chase.
Come here. Don't do it, don't do it! Grab their guns. Do it now. Kick them over to me. I said kick them over to me, Pele.
Now, before I get into the review, let me go back to the tweet I wrote to Stewart recommending this movie. So in the tweet I wrote, amazing film cinema. If I made a movie, I wish it was like this. And I still think that's kind of true. Because when I wrote that tweet, it had been a couple of years since I had seen it. I hadn't seen it since 2011 when I lived in LA. I hadn't seen it since then, and when this list came up, me and Stewart were contacting each other about getting copies of certain movies and whatnot. And this was one of the movies. She's like, hey, do you have a copy of The Chase? I'm like, sure do. Because I thought for sure I had picked it up in the $5 bin. So I had checked everywhere, checked my entire DVD collection, could not find it. So I was like, oh, let me check eBay or Amazon. And on Amazon and eBay, it's out of print, so it's like $25 or something. So I crossed my fingers and kept checking Second Spin every couple days. And it popped up on Second Spin for like $5. And I was like, yes, this is awesome. So I got The Chase, rewatched it, and I still love this movie. Now, it's not the best movie. It's not a classic or anything like that. This is probably a solid 3.5 star movie. I'd probably give it a 4, just my rating system. But I really enjoyed The Chase. It's when Charlie Sheen was in his prime, way before Tiger Blood. And you realize he's on the run, and he stole a car, and he takes Christy Swanson hostage. And the whole movie almost entirely takes place during this car chase. And it's so high octane.
Now that's disgusting.
So you're gonna tell me why you're on the run?
I was convicted of a crime I did not commit. Time to stop those little yuppie punks, Dale. Time to be heroes.
Tonight, there's terror on the freeway.
The reason why I like this movie, and I love it, and the reason why, if I were to make a movie, I wish it was like this, it's an MTV movie. The frenetic energy, and how they make everything so exciting. Because in this movie, there's a lot of cool elements. You got the cameraman in the car, you got these two dummies who are like cameos by Red Hot Chili Peppers. They cause an explosion, and then you got the two cops in the car. One of them's from Billy Madison. He played the principal, and the driver is Henry Rollins, which is fucking awesome. And they're being recorded by reality TV, and that whole element's in this movie where it's like reality TV and trash TV trying to get the interview of this car chase. And I really love that aspect of this movie, because if I were to make a new Die Hard movie, I would definitely want to do something like that, because I think it'd be so funny. of people tweeting about John McClane, like, John McClane should stay out of the situation, or you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And this movie is totally like that. I think this was actually made before the whole O.J. Simpson chase. I might be wrong. 1 year before. This came out in 1993. 1 year before the whole O.J. incident, which I cannot believe. It's so great. It's kind of relevant to this day because there's like a Donald Trump-esque character in this movie. He plays the dad to Christy Swanson. You might recognize him from Twin Peaks and other David Lynch-type movies. And it's so good. I think it's good. I think it's a lot of fun. I just want Stewart to check it out. Like, oh yeah, okay, I can see Frank doing a movie like that because it's so cool. I also like the whole thing at the end. I don't want to spoil it here, but I love that aspect too because if I were to do a movie, I'd want to do something like that. But yeah, Stewart, I hope you like this one. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's kind of like a forgotten, like fun, like Gen X kind of movie. And I want you guys to check it out too. Anyone who's watching this, check out The Chase with Charlie Sheen and Christy Swanson, who's fucking hot in this movie. Oh my God.
The Chase. Getting there is twice the fun.
So we finally reached number 20 on this movie list, and it's The Long Kiss Goodnight, starring Gina Davis and Samuel Jackson, directed by Rennie Harlan.
What if you couldn't remember your real name, your first kiss, or your last goodbye?
Honey, you have an ETA on that carrot?
Stow it.
And then suddenly,
I used to do this. I'm a chef. Yeah!
without warning,
Give me something else. Celery. Scallions. Wow!
all your memories
Name's Charlie. I'm coming back.
came flooding back to you.
Evening, Charlie. Long time.
One bullet at a time.
Now, Stuart, I'm a little afraid how you'll react to The Long Kiss Goodnight. Because as I'm doing this reshoot, I recently just watched the cliffhanger review. Don't get me wrong, you were on point. Rennie Harlan's good at creating good tension sequences. He's good at creating action. But he's bad story-wise because it's all over the place and convoluted. The thing that I really love about Rennie Harlan, and the reason why I like most of his movies, is because I just like being entertained. I like the over-top. I like the theatrics. I like being thrilled. That's kind of my thing. So I like Cliffhanger for that reason. I love Die Hard 2 for that same reason. It's not as realistic and well done as Die Hard 1, but like to me, Die Hard 2 is my secret favorite because it's over the top. You got Bruce on a little bicycle. You got him blowing up a plane with a lighter. You got him going out there with the flames trying to land planes. You got him doing an ejector seat from a helicopter. It's got crazy things like that. It's got a chase on snowmobiles, but the plot's kind of stupid and all over the place, but I don't really care because I'm having fun while watching it. Same thing with Deep Blue Sea. Deep Blue Sea is totally ridiculous, but I'm having a fun time while watching it. And The Long Kiss Goodnight is no different than the other Rennie Harlan movies. There's good action, there's good tension, there's good performances by the actors, but the plot's kind of all over the place, but it's okay. It's forgivable because the dialogue's so fun, because it's written by Shane Black. And when you get two good actors like Gina Davis and Samuel Jackson doing the dialogue, it's perfect. It's great. It's entertaining as fuck. I love this movie. It takes place on Christmas, just like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Lethal Weapon, and The Nice Guys. And if you watched Captain Marvel, this is Nick Fury from Captain Marvel. Holy shit.
Back when we first met, you were all like, oh, boy, I burned the darn muffins. Now, you go into a bar, 10 minutes later, sailors come running out. What up with that?
It's great. I love this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. As long as you turn off your brain. Because I remember I watched this movie last Christmas with my mom, and she was confused by the plot. She didn't quite get it, but I'm like, it's okay, it's fun, just go with it. But one of my pet peeves with this movie, and my only pet peeve, I think, with this movie, is Niagara Falls. There's like one shot where they filmed in Niagara Falls, and everything else is fake. That bridge is not in Niagara Falls. That is not the Rainbow Bridge. No, it's totally not realistic at all. But I don't care. I still have fun with this movie. But anyway, Stuart, go check out this movie. I think you'll enjoy it. Hopefully you will. Fingers crossed. I think it's much better than Cliffhanger because it's more entertaining with the script than just, what do you know about bad times, man?
Gina Davis, Samuel L. Jackson, The Long Kiss Goodnight. Directed by Rennie Harlan. Rennie Harlan.
Before I end this video, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping. In part 1, I mentioned that, hey, Beyond the Mat is next to my Netflix. I'll let you guys know what I think about that movie. I watched it, and I thought it was really good. I did enjoy the documentary. I thought there were some good elements in it. There was a part in the movie that I really enjoyed. I was like, oh, that's wrestling right there. where Terry Funk is trying to get his friend to come out of retirement. Like, he's like, I'm not the main event. I'm not the main event. He's like, come on, man. I really want you to be there. I want you to share that experience with me. I want you to be there. He's, but I'm not the main event. I can't go. I'm not going to go. And then he gets to be like the referee because he shows up last minute, just like all wrestlers do, to save the day. And then he's there to be the referee for that last Terry Funk fight. And it's things like that. I thought, like, that's wrestling right there. I really like that. But yeah, check that out. So this has been part 2 of 101 movies I want Stewart to watch, or anybody to watch. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Next time we'll talk about movies 21 through 30. I'm excited about that. Take care, guys. Bye-bye then.